Welcome back. We are back with the Raising Dion review. Oh, we're going in depth. We're going behind the scenes, in between the layers. We're exposing everything. You are here because you are wise. Use your knowledge to decipher what I say. All right. So, Raising Dion, the extended review. Try to be fast. I'm gonna try to talk fast. It's a lot of information. Please bear with me. So, it was a 2 year gap in between the first, series or season and this latest season, which I believe helped because it added another element to the storyline, which was time. And I believe if it were, you know, in a regular, this guy, he went away and came back type of deal, it wouldn't have worked as well as it did. I think the growth of the children was important, and it really helped that storyline go across. Now, I did want to talk about something where black children are considered adults at the age of 12. So it's a small window that the directors had to work with because black children are perceived as adults at 12. So if it would have gone even any longer, the perception of Dion wouldn't have been raising Dion anymore. It would have been trying to keep Dion out of prison. So it was a small window, um, and this 2 years was great. And I think this 2 years is good. Then the next 2 years um, will be a great picking up point for the story. Now, let's talk about what happened in there. Spoiler alert. Hello? Not really, because we going past the veil. You know what I mean? We passing the whole um, surface level. We're not really. I mean, we can talk about the story, yeah, but we going in depth where the sharks swim, coral reefs, and all of that jazz. Anyway, the one of the center themes, I believe, was stepfathers. People picking up the mantle of that father or father figure and showing themselves as authorities or father figures for the next generation. So the first stepfather, father figure was the this new introduction to this black man, and he was replacing Michael B. Jordan in his role as a father by becoming his trainer. So he was surrogate father slash stepfather, right? And great actor, you know what I mean? Uh, Handsome gentleman. What I didn't like about it though is that he didn't wear any formal wear. He was never in a tie, never in a suit, never showcase any kind of formal wear with a collar, and I just didn't go for that. It's a big storyline with opportunity to actually have him presented formally, and it just wasn't. So that's one of my drawbacks on it. Like, dang, why we can't get no brother in no tie and suit and stuff, man? So he was the trainer to Dion as he was developing his powers. Um, we learned that Dion can learn new powers as it goes. So his power is infinite based on his creativity, which is definite awesome shit. And one of the cool things about this particular season was the display of power. It was different powered people. Obviously, they can't say, words like superhuman and superpowers because DC Marvel got that shit on lock. I mean, it's patented or copywritten that you can't use certain words like a mutant or superhero, superpower. We're gonna have to edit that out. Yeah, that yawn came out of nowhere. Smacked me in the back of my neck. I just anyway. So the development of powers through training and just a display of how they use their powers was really interesting in this and really really cool. Now we want to go into the adversary, right? What? And I got notes here. I'm referring to notes here, okay? Uh, because I just didn't want to come to you without any notes prepared. So um, we had adversaries, which there was a returning adversary who was supposed to be cleansed, but found out he ain't. Found out same up slipping. But what was the true adversary? The true adversary was white supremacy or the legacy of white supremacy. Now, when we talk about legacy, we often refer to as the passing down, the passing of torch. And we talked about earlier the stepfather um, cornerstone of this series. So the child who was left abandoned or orphaned by the death of his father, now a new father figure surfaces and leads him to that dark side, which is white supremacy, being told that he's better than and what have you. Now the white man in the film was the mentor to Dion in the first season, which turned out that he was also the man who killed his father. Now, he is the embodiment of the white male complex here in America. That no one is listening to him, no one cares about his feelings or what he's doing, what he has to endure, and he seems to be, you know, um, he's angry at the world around him because it seems like they're not um, showing any gratitude or respect to him and his accomplishments or whatever, right? So he feels jealous and angry and just wants that wants to be seen as what he thinks he should, and that's the white male complex, right? Here in America. So you have him, returning adversary, and then you also have the kid who lost his father and now has this ghost, the ghost of white supremacy, emboweled in him. So it went from the uh, older mentor white man who had the white male complex. Now it ghosted up out of him. He's cleansed, and now it goes to the next generation and manipulates him into doing the bidding for the legacy of white supremacy. So you can see how you can make those connections of um, the stepfather where Dion has a trainer now who becomes his stepfather, and the adversary gets a ghost like image or a ghost like being who then becomes his stepfather, and one trains for good, the other trains for evil, right? So, this haunted ghost was something that was self sustaining. It didn't need a host, it was a power or a consciousness in its own. And that's why we can relate it to white supremacy, because it's not necessarily something that one person embodies. It's something that is intangible, something that just is. It works in a system, but it's not a component, it's not a piece that can be removed. It is more of the air and a clock. You know what I mean? There is no removing the air in a clock, because it doesn't hurt the clock to have air inside of it. So there's no need to remove the air, but the air is there and it's air apparent. So this conscious ghost was the bridge to manipulate another generation, and ultimately went back to the original host, right? Because he was filled with enough jealousy, anger, and resentment to now take it back, and that's what the ghost of the legacy of white supremacy feeds on, is that jealousy, resentment, anger, and because of that, he was able to go back and jump into that body once he was fully realized. And the reason that he was fully realized is because he had the white male complex, and even though he was trying to do the best good, he couldn't help but think, I'm doing all of this and I'm still not getting praise. I'm still not getting recognized. I'm still not getting accolades for my work. They're looking over what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is of the most importance. No one has anything as important as I do when it comes to the situation. So, uh, this series also had um, losing partners, teachers, as a um, focal point as well, you know, um, and also parents. So as you go into, you see that the parents are lost, as far as the fathers are lost. The kid lost his mother. Dion was going to lose his mother. And basically, that's saying that the teachers, the mothers are the first teachers of the child. The fathers are teachers and enforcers of law in the house. And once these parents and teachers are gone, then there is no cover or safety for the children, and then they get exploited and manipulated to outside forces, i.e., the haunted ghost of the legacy of white supremacy. Now, I definitely believe that this was open ended as far as the ending of the uh, story was concerned, because um, it ended with him leaving the white male with the white male complex, leaving after obtaining the ghost, back into his being, the legacy of white supremacy back into him. Now super powered, he was leaving with that, and that was ending the story. But after the credits, it had a terrible ending. Oh my god! Shaking my head, smacking little babies around. It had a terrible ending where this white male came to Atlanta and said, Atlanta's going down. And then Dion supposedly, now superpowered, realized his full potential is there to stop him. Why? Why do this? Are you saying that you're calling it? Are you saying this is it? We don't want to see anymore? Is it because of that window that this black child would be shown as an adult or perceived as an adult at 12 that you said, okay, well, we only have another year to shoot before he's aged out of his childlike image. So we can't present him as a child anymore, which is fucked up. Don't get it twisted. But um, it was terrible though. Now, Atlanta being the epicenter of black excellence, the legacy of white supremacy coming into Atlanta to destroy it definitely reinforces my opinions on my perceptions of this or observations of this series. Now, it definitely had in this series a lot of cliffhangers that were wonderful, and the way it ended some of the episodes was great. I mean, it definitely left you at the edge of your seat, wanting more. Um, some of the titles really expanded the viewing pleasure because it gave you a glimpse into what it is, not only from the episode prior, but with the title, it kind of even expanded what this episode would be about. And with that, it really kind of guided you along on more of a cart, but then it kind of changed directions at the end, and it was for the better because it is some superhero tropes that you were thinking that was going to happen in this series because it was based in the comic book lore type of scenario, but it didn't. So it was a pleasant surprise that they didn't have to go in and do the Peter Parker or Spider-Man thing, or do the Batman thing where both parents had to die and you're living with your auntie, or, all this other stuff. So kudos to them to avoid some of those tropes. Um, I think some possible next season predictions are going to be like them training, developing powers, going out and fighting crime. Um, you know, whether it's aliens or superpowered teens, things like that that he's trying to go against and trying to thwart. So I think that's going to be a good possible season if it does happen. Because he has something like a superhero team up right now from the last season or this past season that I think could play well in developing a even um, verse or multiverse of different characters, different scenarios, and I think it'll play well. So yeah, basically that's what happened. Um, the Raising Dion season 2 is all about um, the stepfathers, the legacy of white supremacy, and the uh, white male complex, and that was it. Um, So it was really good. I do think another 2 year gap will be needed. Um, if if it's not much training, so I do want to see a 1 year gap if we're going to include training, and getting into it. But I want to see a 2 year gap if we're going to do, just run through of what's been going on in training, and then get into a um, kind of superhero, uh, you know, team up slash begins, with uh, people on the inside, you know, weapons created, suit created, things like that. That would definitely be some eye catching stuff, and just open up the world, um, and explain it. So I'm not gonna keep you long. I'm done. I'm editing that one out too. Man, let me know what you think. If you've seen it, drop a comment. If you hadn't, drop a comment, because I think I saw what I saw. So if you saw what I saw, let me know.